Right, welcome to lesson 12. Now here we're going to be using nature of roots to solve unknowns in a quadratic equation given. So we give you a quadratic equation, you tell you what's the nature of roots and you have to solve it. Sort of compulsory question for grade 11. If your teacher has covered it with you, they will test it. So problem number 1, determine the value of the unknown given. For which values of p will x squared minus 5x equal negative p have real roots? So first, I must make it quadratic by putting it in standard form. So if I take negative p over, comes plus p, so I have x squared minus 5x plus p equal to 0. So a equal 1, b negative 5, c equal p. So my discriminant, p squared minus 4ac, p being negative 5 squared minus 4, a being 1, and c being p. So that minus 5 squared would give me 25, and that would be minus 4p. For real roots, should remember the discriminant must be greater or equal to 0. So 25 minus 4p must be greater or equal to 0. If I take 25 over, it becomes negative 25, right? And from there, I'm dividing by 4 both sides. Very important, if I divide by a negative sign, just to refresh what you should know, the negative changes the inequality sign and it goes from greater than to less than. So there, p less or equal to 25 divided by 4. Remember, negative divided by negative becomes positive. So any value of p that is less or equal to 25 over 4 will ensure that we have real roots here. Right, I hope you understand. Right, problem number 2. Determine p if 2x squared plus px plus 2 equals 0 as non-real roots. Right, non-real roots less than 0. So again, I have 2x squared plus px plus 2, my a value being 2, b being p, and c being 2. So discriminant equal p squared minus 4ac, a equal 2, c equal 2, and p being p squared. So p times p, p squared. 4 times 2 gives me 8, times 2 gives me 16, and it stays negative. So for non-real roots, the discriminant must be less than 0. So p squared minus 16 less than 0. I assume you know that's difference of 2 squares. So if I factorize, p times p gives me p squared. 4 times 4 gives me 16, negative times positive. To solve this, I'm going to use my sign of the parabola. I can also use a number line, but if I plot this, p equal to 4 at that point, p equal negative 4 at that point, right? P squared minus 16, it turns at negative 16, that's the y-intercept, and if I draw it, there's it. So on the parabola, where's the graph negative? So above the x-axis, y is positive. Below the x-axis, y is negative. So this equation is negative here from 4 all the way to negative 4. I hope you see there. I can move my laser pointer without lifting it up. So therefore this is a combined answer, p less than 4 and greater than negative 4. So my answer here, p less than 4, greater than negative 4. Right, if you're stuck with this, just go back to the inequality videos and there it's explained to you how to solve your inequalities. Right, problem number 3. Alright, find the values of y for which the equation x squared y plus 1 minus 4yx plus y plus 6 equals 0 as equal roots. So whatever is attached to x squared is always my a value. So that would be y plus 1. Whatever is attached to x will be negative 4 to the power y. So a is always attached to x to the power 2 and b always to x to the power 1. Whatever value is written without x, that would be considered my constant value, c, y plus c. So I substitute in b squared minus 4ac, b being negative 4y all squared, minus 4, my a value being y plus 1, and my c value y plus 6. Negative times negative, positive. 4 times 4, 16. Y times y, y squared. Negative 4, first multiply those two brackets out. So y times y gives me y squared. 1y. If I take the two furthest ones, 6y. So 6y plus 1y gives me 7y. 1 times 6 gives me 6. So if I multiply out here, 16y squared minus 4y squared gives me 12y squared. Minus 4 times positive 7y, negative 28y. Negative 4 times positive 6, negative 24. And there you should see I'm able to divide by 4 because 4 divides in all of them. 12 divided by 4 gives me 3. Minus 28 divided by 4 gives me negative 7. Negative 24 divided by 4 gives me negative 6. For equal roots, delta must be less than 0. Or my discriminant, not less than 0, discriminant must equal 0. My apologies. Right? So from there, 3y squared minus 7y minus 6 equals 0. I have to factorize. 3 is a prime number, so it can only be 3y times y. For negative 6, the signs must be positive and negative to get to negative 6. And there I've used 2 and 3. So if I check, can I get the middle term? Negative 3 times 3y gives me negative 9y plus 2y if I multiply that. So negative 9 plus 2 gives me negative 7. So using zero factor law, 3y plus 2 equals 0. If I take 2 over, it becomes negative 2 divided by the coefficient of y, so negative 2 over 3. If I take negative 3 over the equal sign, it will become positive 3 and y equals to 3. So in exam, if you test this, you get 1 mark for substitution in the formula. Correct multiplication, 1 mark for writing it in standard form. So that 1 mark actually has to be there. Then we give you another mark for understanding that for equal roots, delta must equal 0. Right? 1 mark for factorization and 1 mark for the answer. Right? As I say, algebra is just patterns that you are learning. Make sure you understand the pattern step by step. If you don't, just read to it. Check where you made an error, notify or put another color there, and you can solve. If you enjoy and you're understanding, please like, share, and subscribe. That way you can stay up to date with all the videos that I'm uploading. Right? Nothing but the best. I'm proud of the fact that you have reached so far and still practicing all these problems. Success is yours if you want it.